Do you hear that? Nothing. No drums, no violins, no epic crescendo telling you how to feel. Just my voice and the sound of your own mind. I turned the music off for a reason. Because the world is too loud. We hide in the noise. We hide in the distraction. But today, I want to tell you a story about a place where the noise dies. I want to take you back to the night I stood at the bottom of the mountain I had been avoiding my entire life. I called this mountain greatness. You might call it success or sobriety or the dream. It doesn't matter what you call it. It was the thing standing between who I was and who I wanted to be. I stood at the base. It was midnight. The air was so cold it felt like knives in my lungs. I looked up and I couldn't even see the top. It disappeared into the clouds. And in that silence, I realized something terrifying. The mountain didn't care if I climbed it. It didn't care if I stayed at the bottom and rotted. It didn't care if I lived or died. It was just there, waiting. So I took the first step. The first hour was easy. Adrenaline is a liar. It tells you that you are stronger than you are. I was running on motivation. I was telling myself, I am a warrior. I am a beast. But then, the adrenaline faded, and the cold set in. I want you to imagine the darkness. Not the darkness of a room with the lights off, but the darkness of a soul with no hope. My legs began to burn. Every step felt like I was lifting lead. My breath was coming in short, ragged gasps. Ha, ha, ha. This is the part of the story usually skipped in the highlight reels. We show the start and we show the finish. We never show the middle. The middle is ugly. I remember slipping on the loose rock. I fell hard on my knees. I tasted blood in my mouth. I stayed on the ground for a long time. The silence around me was deafening. There was no crowd cheering for me. There was no upbeat music pushing me forward. There was just the sound of the wind whispering that I was weak, that I should turn back, that it was warm back down in the valley of mediocrity. Why do we love the valley so much? Because it's easy, because no one judges you there. But nothing grows there. I got up. I don't know why, but I got up. I kept climbing. Hours passed. My hands were bleeding from grabbing the sharp rocks. I looked up and I saw a ridge against the stars. The top! I thought I had made it. I pushed everything I had left into those final steps. I scrambled over the edge, gasping for air, tears in my eyes, ready to plant my flag. It wasn't the top. It was a false summit, just a plateau. And looming above me, even higher, even darker, was the real peak. This is the moment that breaks people. When you think you've done enough, and life tells you, no, do more. I fell to my knees again. I screamed into the dark. I screamed at God. I screamed at the universe. Haven't I suffered enough? Haven't I paid my dues? And the mountain answered with silence. Because the mountain doesn't bargain. You cannot negotiate with the work. The work needs to be done, whether you are tired or not. I sat on that ridge for what felt like an eternity. I had a conversation with myself. The old me was begging to quit. He said, "Just lie down. It's too hard. No one is watching. You can tell them you tried." But then a different voice spoke, a quiet voice. It asked me one question. If I quit now, who will I be tomorrow? That question haunted me. If I walked back down, I would have to carry the weight of failure for the rest of my life. That weight is heavier than any rock. I realized that the pain of climbing was temporary, but the pain of regret, that is eternal. So I stood up. My legs shook. I couldn't feel my fingers. I didn't run. I didn't sprint. I crawled. One hand, then the other. I stopped looking for the top. I stopped looking for the reward. I just fell in love with the struggle. I accepted the pain as the price of admission. Step. Breathe. Step. Breathe. I wasn't a man anymore. I was a machine built of will. I don't remember reaching the top. I just remember the wind stopping. I looked up. The ground levelled out. And there it was. The sun. It broke over the horizon like a fire. It painted the world in gold. I could see everything. I looked down at where I came from, and it looked so small. The valley where I used to live, it was just a shadow. I stood there, bathed in the light, and I realized the truth. The prize wasn't the view. The prize wasn't the summit. The prize was the person I became to get there. The weak man who started at the bottom died on the slope. The man standing at the top, he was forged in the dark. I told you this story because you are standing at the bottom of your own mountain right now. It looks impossible. It looks cold, and you are waiting for the music to start. You are waiting for someone to come and save you. Listen to the silence. No one is coming. It's just you and the mountain. Pick up your bag. Start climbing.